think I did 22 separate renders. This mic is kind of shitty. I don't even fucking know what to say. I don't have a script or anything. Man, I guess here we go.
NU-11 Null
Sector Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 6 of the Null Sector Podcast, home of the vibes, shelter for the baseline enthusiast, and hangout session for just about everyone in between. I am Null, also known as Jake, and let's chill. All right, that's the old intro done. As you know, it's a small talk update, boys. It's time to do that. This has been a minute. Things have been kind of crazy over here. So first of all, I'm sick, or was sick. I'm on the tail end of it. I'm getting better. So forgive me if I sound nasally or stuffed, because I am. But I'm almost good. And you know, I couldn't miss my upload. Couldn't do it for you guys. So here we are. Other thing for my small talk update is, look at this shirt. Can you guys see this shirt? I'm going to have to pick you up for a second. For those of you that are watching on the video version of this podcast, which is on my second channel, which is most of you, because as of right now, pretty much no one listens to Spotify, Anchor, or Pocket Casts, but that's okay. All right, as you can see, this is a shirt from Corridor Digital, a limited edition shirt that came out. Hopefully you can see this in frame. And it's from their, what'd they call it? Rock, paper, crossblades. They're highly controversial AI-generated anime, basically. But we won't get into that since everybody's upset about it. But in short, my opinion is it's awesome, and it's a crazy new technology that's super cool, and I hope we see more of it. So anyway, great shirt. I love the design, and had to wear it for the podcast today because it's just necessary, you know? Man. Other than that, I've been sick. I've been going through it. I really didn't think I was going to make a podcast episode today. I was actually going to do it the other day, but then that didn't work out. I got lucky that I was able to get my fucking reservation here because I didn't think it was going to happen. But it did, so I'm happy. I got my timer set, so let us move on because it is Saturday, and I got to post this tomorrow night at midnight. So let's get going. Content update. It is the time. So I actually had planned to do 2 podcast recordings today, which is I've never done before. Excuse me. But that would make sense. I've got another topic that I'm going to talk about today. It's going to be the second topic. It ties into what I'm talking about right now. For certain reasons, I was planning on doing a double podcast, and I decided not to do it. I was like pretty confident I was going to do that today. I have a 2-hour session booked right now, so I got time. But I ultimately decided against it because of the small talk and content update that I do. It just wouldn't make sense. You know, a lot can happen in 2 weeks. And if I recorded 2 today, I would be recording 4 weeks in advance for the next podcast episode, which, you know, wouldn't be accurate for the time. So also, like I said, for certain reasons later that I will tell you about, I decided that I would rather just record it when the time comes like normal. So, sorry that I'm out of breath. I have a really big nose, a big schnoz, and I'm a very heavy breather. It's something I'm definitely self-conscious about in my recordings, not IRL. My nose looks fine. I like my nose. But when it comes to recording and audio editing and stuff, I'm just like constantly heavily breathing in everything I record, and it's so fucking loud. Like, I'll just be quiet for a second, and I sound like this, like just like, goddamn. I'm a little out of breath because it's actually very hot in here, especially with the lights on, and I was rushing to set everything up. Also, I'm sick. I apologize if you're gonna hear a lot of high-pitched nasal sounds and me breathing in and out. I've tried to edit it out, but I can only do so much. You notice it when I'm quiet, so I tend not to pause for too often. Anyway, content update. Moving on. My new video. It's doing all right. I've been working on it for a while now. It's supposed to come out this coming Friday. So we'll see if that happens. Hopefully it will. Again, this is in relation to a later topic that I'm going to talk about, but hopefully it will. I really like it so far. I think it's my favorite new wave of content video that I made so far. I've put a lot of editing effort into it. I've recorded over multiple days. I've come back and edited multiple days. A lot of the time with my projects, I'll kind of just sit down and do it all in a single day. And I think because of that, they definitely suffer from quality. I kind of burn out towards the end. I'm like, I just want to be done. And I finish up the video. But limiting myself on how long I can work a day has been going pretty well. So that part's nice. Oh my God. Going through it today. sick, uncomfy. Okay. What else? I've done a little bit of work on Dissension. Since last time, I haven't really had a chance to work on it. Like I said, I've been so sick that I haven't really done anything for the past week. I did the last podcast episode with Avon, and then since then, I've just been literally the day I posted it, I tagged them, I told them, hey, it's live, and then I conked out sick as can be for until today, which is an entire week later. So it's been rough out here for your boy. So I haven't made much progress on Dissension. I've changed a couple things, but I like how it is. I can't decide if I want to finish this Dissension. I think I talked about this before a little bit, but I can't decide if I want to just leave it as what it is, which is just one build up, one drop, and I think it's about a 2-minute song, and just end it there. I don't think I'll probably do that. I think I'll probably extend it. Give it a second drop and all that. But we'll see. All in good time. I like how it is so far. I don't think it needs more, but I feel like it should have more, if that makes sense. Oh my God. Sorry. Oh, I can't breathe out of my nose very well, so I'm just chronically out of breath. All right, let us move on to our first topic, which is producing goals. So I have these organized a little bit out of order. On my script here, I actually have number 3 as the first one, topic number 3. So it's a little confusing, but I decided I'd talk about them in kind of relevance to what I do. So the music stuff I thought I'd probably talk about first. So this one's just I didn't know what to name this topic. I kind of skipped around with ideas. I thought about producer rant, music stuff. I just settled on producing goals. I basically just want to rant about the music stuff I'm throwing around in my brain right now, what I kind of want to do. Oh, huge thing real quick. Again, for the video viewers, only you guys will be able to see this. This pop filter on this mic here, this is mine. I bought this off Amazon and I put it on a couple podcasts ago. I forgot to fucking take it off. In the last podcast with Avon, when I finished talking to them, I forgot to take this off when I packed up. And it's been here for 7 days and people have just been using it. They probably just think it belongs to the studio. So I got lucky with that. So I'm going to try to remember to take it with me this time. That was a big oopsie. Anyway, producing goals. So it's time for me to just rant about shit that I want to make. And I might do a little edit here for one of them. So I have been stimming all day long. For those of you that don't know, I'm undiagnosed, but basically 100% sure. I have both autism and ADHD. The ADHD quite bad. Anyway, it leads to me stimming all the time. Like basically whenever I'm doing something that doesn't require my vocal cords to do the work, I'm just stimming instead. Um, and my stim, one of them that doesn't go away is just doing the typical boots and cats or just drum beats of any kind. And I've had one that I've got to take one earphone off here to make this a little easier. I had one recently that I've been throwing around that I kind of want to do a TikTok for. A little tic-tac. Kind of want to do like one of those TikToks where they go from the beat that they're just like doing with their mouth to bam, the fully produced version. And I don't think it would require a lot. So I'm going to break it down for you. I figured out this little technique. I'm not a beatboxer of any kind. It's also something I'm going to talk about because I'd love to be. I've been fascinated with it forever, but I'm not one. And so I figured out that I've done the boots and cats thing since I was like in middle school when one of my friends did it. It was like, hey, you ever heard of boots and cats? I'm like, what's that? It's not original. Everyone has done it, but it just stuck with me as a stem. And just general drum beats when I'm driving. I'll just be going... And I found that like if I do the hi-hat, the sound mixed with the boots and the cats, you get like this interspersed hi-hats with boots and cats. So it's it's not really a hi-hat, but it's at least what's that word? I guess more plosive that adds like a chugging sound. And so I thought like, what if we did a stylistic like reduxed res style bass, and it's something like it's the boots and cats with a res sub bass, I guess almost kind of like a funk thing, but just as a little fun TikTok. I thought that would be cool. So I start with like the beat. It's like dun, 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 boots and dun, dun, cats and dun, dun, boots and dun, dun, cats and dun, dun, boots and dun, dun, cats and dun, dun, boom, dun, dun, dun. The actual bass hitting, but I was like, that could be a fun little idea. And I might do a little bit of an edit here if I have time today and like insert it right here. I don't know. But anyway, that is something I want to do on my mind. This has been there. I want to learn how to beatbox. This is also something that I've wanted to do for a long time. I've always been fascinated with it, but I've never been able to do it. And it's something that I want to do. Not much to it other than that. I want to learn how to do inward bass, which as far as I understand is either using your nose or your mouth or a combination of both. And you're sucking in air in a way that vibrates your lip to literally produce sub bass levels of bass. And it sounds crazy. Like I can't beatbox at all. Like one of the popular bass sounds that's like come from Vine era memes and TikTok is like this super saturated and distorted sub bass, almost like the Honda Civic subwoofer kind of meme sound. It's just like I can't do it, but it's like the opposite of that, and it's really clean and actually sounds like a sub bass. And I want to learn it because that'd be fire. I'm thinking about making a funk track video. I've discovered that I actually like funk kind of a lot. I don't listen to it in my own time, but it just like it always goes hard. It never doesn't. So I thought I might hop on the trend and just do like a little video where I just make a funk beat and like I book a studio session like today, but instead of podcasts, I just record a video. I don't know, something I've never done, but I like really want to make actual music content, and I'm like, I don't feel so great that I haven't yet. So I don't know. I may not ever do that. but I think it would be a lot of fun to make a funk track. So I kind of want to do that. What else? More ranting. I don't know what vocals I should sample also, because funk beats almost always have some kind of rap style, not melodic. I can't, my brain is so messed up today. Rhythmic vocals in the background that are kind of side chained, and I have no idea what to do about those. Maybe I could do them myself. I guess that leads into another topic. I want to do vocals, man. I really do. Ever since I was the last podcast with them, Avon, they really got me into wanting to do vocals. I mean, I already have for a fucking long time, but like I really want to now. I really want to do vocals, man. I like my songs, but just having vocals makes it a lot more satisfying to me. It feels like it adds a lot more to the song. I think I'm going to push myself to do it. It hasn't worked so well in the past, but I think I have ways around that nowadays. Which also kind of leads into my next topic. So, well, not topic, but my producer rant here. Part of the reason that I haven't done vocals, and let me pull up a example of vocals that I'm actually kind of proud of, which I don't have a lot, to be honest. You know what? I don't know if I have it on here. I don't have both of them. I have one. So this was a song I was working on for a while. I didn't like where it was going, so I never finished it. But it's just called Chill Spacey because I didn't come up with the name for it. So let me play for you just the first part. This was as far as me producing my own vocals has ever gone. It's okay. It's not the best thing in the world. It's okay. But here's what we got for that. So 3, 2, 1, here you go.
I think you caught me dreaming out my window.
Yeah, I'm actually still really proud of that. I've used it in some of my content before as backing tracks in my videos and stuff like that, but I actually really like that song. Now that I'm listening to it again, I would like to remake it. I'm not confident I could remake it as perfect. I really, really like that. And I don't do a lot of chill music, but that is like really nice. I want to do more stuff like that. And I want to do different stylized stuff. But so the problem I used to have with this is vocals are very difficult. Producing in general is just hard. I have learned so much. But vocals are just like, I mean, first of all, it's their own like subsection of producing. But they're so difficult because everyone's voice is different. And making it fit into the mix of your song is something that I have had issue with, and mostly just processing my voice to sound good in general. I cannot sing. I'm okay at it. I'm nowhere near amateur or professional. I can hold a tune sometimes, but like there's so many people better than me. And only reason I don't work with other artists is number one, because I haven't really done many collabs. I haven't really done any. And two, I can't pay them and I feel bad if I don't. So I don't really work with other people. But producing music with vocals is just difficult. And I haven't felt confident enough to do it before. I've tried. Ever since I was a kid, I started doing a cappella stuff. That's how I originally kind of got into music. but I could never really pair it with the song. And I've learned so much, man, just from talking to other people and watching videos. Literally, TikTok has educated me a lot about producing. And one thing that's like really important is when you're mixing in the song, I mean, this just kind of goes in general. You want to look at your EQ and make sure, like, if there's any portions of your EQ that are just way higher than the others, you should probably EQ it down a little bit in your master. In addition to that, something that you can do for vocals is kind of carve out a section for your vocals. Like for me, I'd probably carve out around 200 to, I don't know the exact, maybe 10K. Somewhere out of there, just kind of lower it a little bit. So that carves out like an, you're bringing it down, basically. You're bringing down the volume of those specific frequencies. So that's kind of where my voice would sit if I processed it, so that we're bringing down the decibels, the volume of those specific frequencies, so that mine, which is adding its own volume to the song when you put vocals in there, can rest in there nicely. Like, that's a great tip. Something I never thought about doing. And that's been a big thing in my producing journey in general, is actually starting to understand like the frequency spectrum and where certain sounds sit in there. It's like, I'm sure there's so many of you that can relate who are producers just learning for the first time, is like when you finally hear about, I don't know, maybe you heard someone say low pass filter or high pass filter, or I'm going to cut the mids, stuff like that. You're like, what the fuck does that mean? And then you see an equalizer and you're like, I have no idea what to do with this. It's very confusing. And just learning to use an equalizer has been like the biggest thing in my musical journey that has made a big difference in my producing. If you had nothing else in a song but an equalizer, you could still make it sound just light years different than the raw audio of everything. Now, you'd like a lot more, but just an EQ can make a ridiculous difference. So that's like been the biggest thing for me, is like processing vocals is the whole thing. I mean, I have a chain for my podcast recording here with like a denoiser, an EQ, a compressor, a de-esser. I forget what this plugin is, to be honest. What is this one? Oh, another EQ. And then multi-band compressor. So all of that stuff is actively being processed on this audio. And my audio is actually not that great. For example, I'm going to quickly turn off my effects chain. This is with the effects chain completely off. And as you can hear, it's not that great. This is the raw audio, and now I have turned it back on, and this is with everything back on. Like, there's a significant difference, and a lot of that can come from, no shit, it comes from the what I'm doing to it. I'm thinking before I speak. The thing that I can't fix in this room is the echo. There are plugins for that, and they do work pretty well, but again, I'm trying not to pirate stuff because it just makes moving my music studio stuff around annoying as fuck, because it's just more hassle than it's worth for me. It's not like an ethical thing. So I can't afford like actual reverb and echo removal plugins right now, but I would throw one on here if I could. I used to have one that I used that worked fairly well. It does artifact the audio a little bit, but it's still pretty good. I am just like super off topic though. Anyway, I gotta move on. So I want to do vocals. I've learned a lot. I think I can do it now. I really do. Because you certainly don't need to sing that well to make it sound good. As long as you layer a bunch, you can use pretty much anything. This leads into another talking point of this section. Another issue I had with processing vocals was pitch correction, which is a huge part of it, if not one of the biggest parts of it outside of EQ. I don't know how to do it. I've played around with it for literal years, for a very long time, so I know a little bit how to do it. But I used to use Melodyne, which I definitely didn't own. So, however, I've come to learn that Melodyne in the hands of professional works very well. Melodyne in the hands of me, it works okay. It doesn't work that great. I really wish I had some other samples here that I could play for you. I don't have them offhand. That's really frustrating, to be honest. Oh well. Whoopsies. But I used to use Melodyne, and it can work. It's okay, but it's not ideal. I've had stuff that sounds way better that I've listened to that uses Melodyne, and I can't achieve it myself. So I don't actually like Melodyne that much. It's not very intuitive, and I feel like I don't have enough control when I use it, which is probably user error. Again, I don't know how to use it that well. I tried to use Autotune because the two biggest ones out there are Melodyne and Autotune, and the differences between an active and a passive pitch correction. Autotune does both. You can have Autotune for like a live set performance. You can have it passively correct all your pitches to whatever you want within a certain key or a chord or something like that. Autotune also has a notation tool to actively correct pitch, where you can go into a pre-recorded audio file and yourself correct the pitch. That's the difference. Melodyne only does active pitch correction. It does not do passive. So I've tried a bunch of passive auto correction. It can work, but I use like free tools, and they kind of only do T-Pain style, and everything else is kind of not that great. But in my opinion, unless you're doing something that specifically wants the T-Pain style intense passive pitch correction, if you don't want that in your mix and you're just looking for pitch correcting someone who's a little sharp, a little out of key in their singing, the only way to do that, in my opinion, to make it actually work is active. And I don't like the two biggest ones that do that because I'm not very good with Melodyne. And when I tried to do it with, really couldn't even figure out how, even looking up tutorials and stuff. I don't know what my issue was, but I couldn't figure it out. I did a trial of Autotune. They have a subscription service now, which is actually great. And here's the plan for me. The only reason I've been motivated to try again is after talking to Aben and hearing how they do. So like they're basically like their niche is vocals. That got me excited to do vocals again. And then I saw TikTok with a guy explaining how much pitch correction can save a bad singer. And he used Autotune, and he used both passive and active pitch correction. And he showed how he does it with active pitch correction, which I could never figure out before. And it didn't look that bad. And actually, it looked better and more robust than Melodyne. So I'm going to give it another try, and I bet you I can fucking do it, and I'm excited. So more on that. I mean, hopefully in the future at some point when I do it, but, we'll just have to see. So that's it. I'm going to try getting the subscription for Autotune again, trying to, do some demos with some vocals. I think that would be really cool. I do have the problem of I can only record vocals in the studio here, so it's a bit difficult for me to do it, but I still want to. To quickly wrap this up, because we are behind, what I wish I could do were some like borderline edgy screamo vocals, very like emo screamo. Examples of this, which is all in the music I listen to. It's like a hybrid between dubstep, drum and bass, and screamo. Micah Martin is insane. He's in a lot of the tracks that are in my Bassline Junkie Bangers playlist. Rival X Cadmium in the In Your Head song, he did the vocals in that. No Blood Left to Bleed with Lucille Croft, he did the vocals in that. Echoes with We Are the Fury. Micah Martin did the vocals in that. All those songs are great examples. I actually don't know how to pronounce this name. I always say Mézare in my head, but it may be like Mézare. I don't actually know. But their vocals are just the same. Fucking, I love them. Them and Essinger have done a couple tracks together, both on Battle Cry and Berserker. Mézare is just like, fucking love their vocals so much. Another example would be Josh Rubin. He worked with Sin for Voices. I love the vocals in that too. These edgy screamo dubstep vocals are just, I can't do them. Maybe one day, but that's what I wish I could do. Anyway, last thing is Giblets. My Dadits, Giblets, the one, the man, the boy, the legend. I love Giblets so much. His voice is just fucking angelic. I cannot get over how good his vocals are. I will never be on his level, but God, I wish I could. Giblets is just one of a kind with his vocals. They're amazing, and I love them so much. Literally any of his songs are a perfect example. Like I can't even tell you, because literally any Giblets song, he's insane. So he's probably one of my favorite artists right now. So Giblets. Anyway, we just spent like 30 minutes. So topic number 2. Relocating. This is that topic that I mentioned at the beginning that tied into other things. Yeah, man, I'm not afraid to say I contemplated this for a while, but like, it's not hard to know where I am. Like, you can look up on my descriptions on my social media. I'm currently based in Georgia, near the Atlanta area. All producers are. But for a while, I'm peacing out, and I'm going to Florida. I will not say where in Florida, but I'm headed there. It's going to be fun, I think. This is kind of what I was talking about before when I said I was planning on recording 2 podcasts. I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do that, because the reason I felt that way is because I'm going to lose access to this studio, right? I'm literally leaving the state, and it's here. It's in Georgia. So I won't have access to this anymore. And I don't know of an equivalent in Florida. Like, this is a very niche, really, really cool thing that my local library does. I mean, it's so awesome. I'm so lucky that they do this. It's like the biggest resource that I utilize all the fucking time. So that's kind of lame, but hey man, it's the way the cookie crumbles right now. The way my life is going, I need to change of pace. I need to change of scenery. I've also got friends out in Florida, so I'm piecing on out to Florida, and all of my endeavors for creative content will come with me. So we're going to figure it out. I was anxious about it because I was like, I'm not going to be able to record this podcast now. So I was thinking, I'll record 2. But I want to keep it real, and the content updates and the small talk, I want that to be relevant. So I'm going to fucking figure it out, I will figure it out. I always do. Me and my partner, we're really cool. We're like, we are really strong people. We have been through a lot in our lives, and we always figure it out. No matter what it is, we figure something out. So that's what I'm going to do. Next podcast episode, most likely, like, things could always fall through. Maybe I won't end up going, but for now, that's the plan. Next podcast episode will probably be from Florida. I always talk about these things and then they end up not happening. So nothing's concrete. Literally, I can never predict the future. It always is different. But if things go to plan, things will start being a little bit more tropical around here. Except for the music. I don't think that'll change. I actually might do another podcast with someone else. They're not a music person. They don't make music, but he's one of my best friends. So I'll see if maybe he wants to come on and just chat about shit. That'd be fun. I also want to get my partner on here for a podcast too. I've been talking to her about that, and she's down. So we'll probably do one with her too, so we can talk about things, because I love my family. And having them on my podcast is fun for me and cool and fulfilling. So that's pretty much that. We're moving to Florida, and we're gonna see how things go. I'm still gonna make videos like not. This isn't some big scary announcement. Nothing's changing. Still gonna make music and videos. It's just I'm relocating, so I have to think it all through and really figure it out. And hopefully it all goes according to plan. That's that. So it's time for our last topic, which is topic number 3. Dream car. So this one is something that I've had in my back pocket of topics to talk about for a while. I was never a car person my entire life. I was born and raised in Texas. I'm a good old country boy. I lived in Texas for 19 years. And believe it or not, I was not a car person. I was not a truck guy. I owned a truck at some point in my life. I don't have it anymore. But it never happened. It just was something that I was not interested in. Growing up in high school, I was very much the skinny little weirdo artsy creative kid. Not so much a theater kid, although I did do theater for a little while. I drew comics a lot, and I didn't really do music. I tried. Oh my God, we don't talk about that stuff back then. That was me growing up. So I was never considered the admittedly toxic but stereotypical man. People would say I had soft hands, brother. I had soft hands because I didn't know about trucks. I didn't know about pickups. I didn't know about Mustangs and sports and cars and fucking rally cars, fucking muscle cars. I didn't do any of that shit. I didn't know what a radiator was. I didn't know what an intake was, an exhaust manifold. I didn't know what a fucking anything. I didn't know anything about nothing. And I barely even knew how to jump my car if I needed to, which I did do, but I figured it out. Anyway, at one point, things just kind of started to change. It was almost like, it's funny because like toxic masculinity and stereotypes has finally started, like with my generation, becoming widely recognized for what it is. Things have kind of started to have stigmas, and it's not bad. Enjoying a hobby of any kind is not inherently bad. That's never the case. But because of that, certain hobbies have been like a little bit stigmatized as like, oh, that's what the bros do. And I felt that way too. Like there was a little bit of like, I guess not elitism, but like, oh, I'm a little bit better than the the toxic masculine people because I don't need cars. Like, oh, I don't have to be all like, it was stupid, It was a product of the way I was raised back then. I'm a very different person now, but it's okay to enjoy traditional masculine things as long as you're not a fucking dick and you're not misogynistic and actually have the problematic traits of toxic masculinity. Can't say it better myself. Like, it's okay to have hobbies. That's fine. So I kind of came to this conclusion over time that, oh, I think I do like cars, and I've gotten more and more interested in them over time. And nowadays I'm very interested in them. I'm a car guy, not really a car guy, like a lot of people actually are, but I enjoy them and I think they're cool, and I want to do stuff with cars. I had a Mustang for a while. It was a 2013 blacked out V6 Mustang. I didn't get the V8, didn't get the GT. I couldn't afford it. But the V6 I actually like better. I may be a little biased, but I actually prefer the growl, like the rumble of the V6 over like the roar of the V8. I think for those of you that understand what I mean, like you really know what I mean. I did put a aftermarket spoiler on the back so it looked like a GT, but it obviously wasn't. I think it looks so cool though. I miss that car, man. I miss it so much. I traded it in for a 2010 Toyota Prius, and I miss my car so bad. I thought I would I'm glad I did it. It was a great decision, but man, I miss that car. It was dying though. That transmission was shot beyond belief, and I'm so lucky that I was able to sell it when I did, because it was about to fall out of the damn undercarriage. Like it was, my gearbox, my transmission area had to be full of metal shavings. I'm sure it was just sparkly gray liquid in there, because my transmission would slip so bad that it would get stuck in a gear and I would lose all power, and I'd have to pull over, put it in reverse, and then put it back in drive to be able to drive. Like, it was horrible. Anyway, I learned more about cars over time, and now, boy oh boy, me oh my, I really have gotten into vintage cars, old cars. I'm a little biased since I owned a Mustang that I loved a lot. So I'm really into older muscle cars, which is very popular, but man, I love them so much. They look so good. I'm really actually not a fan of modern Mustangs. The one I used to own in I think it was 2010 to 2014, 2013 era of Mustangs. I forget what gen that is, but that look I still liked. It's all right. It's like a nice modern twist, but the new stuff, I mean, even the 2024 version that they came out with is they kind of just jutted the back end even more in. I don't know. I don't really like the curves of the newer Mustangs. They're a little bulbous in areas, and I think having hard flat edges looks really sick, which is why I like a lot of the vintage cars. Because of that, my sock. Look at this shit. It was supposed to be up here. Can't wear your tech wear socks low. That's illegal. Anyway, because of my interest in cars, I got into resurrection YouTube channels, like Junkyard Digs. I think it's Davey 501, something like that. I can't remember all the names, but that may be an aviation channel. Same thing though. All these channels do is they find old cars and try to salvage them and bring them back to life. Usually they're muscle cars. Junkyard Digs is one that I watch a lot. He just posts hour-long videos of him just slaving away on an engine, trying to get it back to life on a Camaro that's been sitting for 25, 36 years without moving. They're so satisfying to me, and they got me really, really into the car scene, especially the vintage car scene. So they're also a lot easier to work on. I talk like I've done this shit before. I haven't. I have worked on vehicles, but nothing like bringing a car back from the brink of death. I technically did do it with my Mustang, but I didn't do that much. The most I've done, I have replaced a bumper myself. I have replaced a battery. Wow. I have fixed leaks, and brought my Mustang back from not working to working. I have replaced lights. That's pretty much it. I've done very just basic car maintenance stuff. I cut a lot of shit off of my Prius with a knife, which is not ideal. Half of the splash guards under the engine have all been cut away, including in the wheel wells, just because they keep falling off. I've had such a problem with hitting potholes here in Georgia. Georgia roads are so ass. I hate them so much. Georgia roads and Georgia drivers are just oh, don't fucking get me started, because I drive for a living. So man, holy shit. Anyway, I got into these resurrection car channels, and it made me really, really want another Mustang. So that leads me to the actual topic here, which is my dream car. I have two of them. And really, honestly, it's any vintage car that I think looks good, preferably a muscle car. But if I could choose, I really, really want to find a 1969 Ford Mustang. I don't care if it's the Boss. I do not care if it's a fastback. Just any 1969 Ford Mustang that is in working order or good enough. It doesn't have to actually be running, but as long as it's not completely rusted out and unsalvageable, like if it's been sitting with water damage for 30 years, like as long as it's enough where I can bring it back from the brink of death, God, dude, bro. So bad. I want to just have like a little shed, a little workshop where I can have my project car and just work on it for years and get it running. Like, man, that's my dream. That's my dream. I don't have to get a 1969 Ford Mustang. That would be my dream car. I also would love one of the Z28s, the 1979 Chevy Camaro Z28s. Famously depicted in Stranger Things. Billy drove one of those, which is originally where I saw it. And I was like, oh my God, what fucking car is that? It's so cool. And it's funny because I learned from talking to folks who used to own them, Z28s were kind of considered like the douche canoe car. All like the douchey jocks in high school back in the 70s owned a Z28. So I think it's funny that the leather bad boys used to drive those, which is exactly what Billy was in Stranger Things. I'm not one of those. I think like dark wear and goth kind of crossover with black leather wearing bad boys with aviators. I used to wear black leather jackets and aviators. I mean, I still do, but man, I would just love a Z28 just for the car. Like, I think it's funny that that's the heritage, but man, they look so good. I may or may not have them on screen. I just want to see them again. I have in my server, I have a section dedicated to it in my personal server, but man, just looking at them. I love the front end on the Z28, like the angular V shape, and the way like the lights are kind of nestled into the chassis. I don't like the back end that much of the Z28. I love the back end of the Mustangs way better. The triple vertical rectangles for the taillights of a Mustang are so iconic. Like they've never changed, and I love that. The newest Mustang kind of changes them a little bit, not too much. But man, if I could get like some kind of modified amalgamation, like a wide body Z28 front end with a wide body 69 Ford Mustang back end with like hood vent, hood scoop. This actual 69 Ford Mustang that I'm looking at has like wide body rear quarter panel vents as well, which looks insane. But like if I could do all that and put that into one car, that would be my dream car. Black it the fuck out. Oh God. I would be in heaven. It'd be so cool. I love, like, I think it's really satisfying to work on an engine and bring it back to life. But honestly, I wouldn't even be that dedicated to it being gas. If I made it fully electric, which would be way out of my ability. I am not a welder. I do not know how to solder and use controllers, speed controllers. I don't know how to retrofit Tesla motors. I can't do any of that. There's a channel that I'm watching that does, which has been super satisfying. The dude is taking a bone stock Ford Explorer from like the early 2000s and is making it the ultimate sleeper build by putting 2 dual motor Tesla motors in it and like overclocking them to go faster. So he's making like 1,000 fucking horsepower electric Ford Explorer. It just looks like a shitbox. It's insane. I love it so much. He's let me see if I can find the name of his channel, because I have been following this for a little while now and it's getting closer. He's getting closer. He hasn't had all the parts come in yet, but like I really want to see where it goes. It is Aging Wheels on YouTube. That is his channel. Go watch his 900 horsepower electric escape project. It is It is amazing. His most recent video that I just watched at the time of recording, he got a battery powered steering and 5 radiators. Yeah. So if I could do something like that with my dream vintage muscle car, I would. I think that would be cool as fuck. Because my style is pretty much cyber goth. I'm not afraid of technology. So what I would really love to do, continuing the dream car thing, is for the interior, replace the entire dash with like the retro futurist. Oh man, I can't remember the brand, man. Let me see if I can figure it out. Oh no, did my keyboard die? Die? No, it didn't. Okay. Retro futuristic car dash early 90s. I can't remember which cars it was. I want to say maybe it was Nissan's. Anyway, like I know a lot about cars, but there's like certain subsects of car culture that I've just never been interested in enough to like learn about it. And that's with like the kind of street scene with like the famous Initial D car. Those kind of street cars I used to watch content about, but I'm not that educated in. So those with that retro futurist, like almost kind of like fighter jet LCD. Well, I don't think it's not LCD, but like the old illuminated panels. I just love the look of them so much. With a bunch of like switches and buttons and sliders. I love all of that. I love like the tactileness, the feel, the feedback with the LEDs where everything like just looks, I love it. Like if I could put something like that into the Mustang, oh man, that would be a dream. And maybe that's possible, you know? Anything's possible. Anyone can make anything if they want to. So that would be my dream car. That would be what I wish I could do. And maybe I can do one day, but, you know, I haven't done it yet. So we will see. I would love to, but we'll get there. Anyway, I don't really have any more topics. So we might as well stop. I don't really want to, but I do have this recording session until 4, and it is 3:15. So I could use some time to edit here, which I probably need to because I got to get back out there and make some money. Excuse me. All right, so I guess I'm going to call it there for the topic number 3 of the dream car. You guys get it. If you're a car nerd, if you like vintage cars, literally send me anything, and I'll be excited to see it because I think it's so cool. I just watched a video last night with Junkyard Diggs again where he was bringing back, what was it? I fell asleep watching it. 71 Plymouth or Plymouth. Depends on how you want to pronounce it. But I actually like the look of that car too. I love old big block engines. They're so fun to like bring back. Anyway, I'm rambling because we need to end this. So, as you guys know, our last section, which you will hopefully come to know and love, as I always say, is questions section. If you ever get this far, you know the drill. We still don't have anything yet in our email, but you know, I'm predicting by episode 40, we'll get one. We'll see if I'm right. As you know, we have a questions section. We have a Gmail dedicated for questions and any other feedback you may have. That Gmail is NU-11 sectorpodcast@gmail.com. No dashes, no hyphens. All that I ask is that you send an email into that one, the email that I gave you, and in the subject line, put your name, whatever you'd like that to be, dash podcast question. Then in the body of the email, write whatever you want. It doesn't actually have to be a question. It can be feedback. It can be a complaint. You can cuss me out if you want. I don't care. Send whatever you want with that format, and then I will see it, and I will talk about it in this section on the next podcast. We have not gotten anything yet, but I'm still predicting by episode 40, we will finally have gotten something. Hopefully I'm right. We will see about that, but that'll be really exciting and like magical when I get the first podcast question that like doesn't directly come from a mutual. However, mutuals would still be really cool if you did it. Like, that would still be pretty fun. Anyway, that is it. It's been a vibe. Thank you guys. It's that time as always. Thank you for the immaculate vibes, dude, for hanging with me. And I'll see you guys next week. As always, you can find the audio version of this podcast on Spotify, Anchor, and Pocket Casts, and the video version on my second channel, which is NU-11. For those of you guys watching, you already know that. Keep an eye out for all my other forms of content. You can find me basically everywhere in some form of NU-11. That's my main channel. My TikTok is at Noel NU11_official. Spotify, which is Noel NU-11. Twitter at official NU_11. My subreddit, which is NU11 sector, which it's like it exists. No one's on it. I don't really post. Maybe someday. My second channel, which you may or may not be watching this version of the video podcast on, which is NU-22. And that is it. See you guys next Monday. Peace out. Take care. Listen to the bass. Enjoy the bass. And bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. See you later. Bye.
NU-11. No.
Sector Podcast.
I was very hot. I was very hot before this started. I'm actually like a little chilly. I finally cooled down. I still feel bad because I'm sick, but and this is the first time that I've actually done the after credits scene with the mic, because I usually just immediately stop recording, but I didn't. I didn't for you guys because I love you. But as always, I've got shit to do, which for me is using the little bit of time left that I have in this studio to edit this podcast and get it out as soon as I can. I've got a lot of stuff to prepare for. I'm heading out to Florida hopefully in like 4 days. So I got to go do everything that's involved with that. So I got to get out of here, but thank you guys for chilling with me. And I love you guys. This has been great. Kiss, kiss, give Poppy kiss. Give me kiss. Okay, give me kiss. Mwah.